Hey everyone, welcome back to Manhwa Station. Before diving into this part, I highly recommend watching the previous parts of the story. If you haven't, simply click the card above and catch up. For those who have already watched, please continue on with me as I move deeper into the story. A link to the playlist can also be found in the video description. With that, let's move into the story. Previously, as the bandit turned towards Lena, intent on killing her as well, the knife he held close to her neck. But Lena had not given up. When Jared heard of the slavers and mines, he immediately assembled an army of knights to put an end to their atrocities. Using his knowledge of the best strategic locations, Jared quickly found the bandits' hideout. His orders were simple: free the slaves and kill all the enslavers. The bandits' hideout became their prison, from which they could not escape. Their only fate was to be killed by the knights' swords. As Jared explored the cave, he found a girl pinned to the ground, about to be killed. He used his fire magic to burn the bandit, saving Lena. Unfortunately, it was already too late for Manny. Jared regretted arriving too late. He could have saved her if he had been faster. As he consoled Lena, Ched, the leader of the bandits, entered and disrespected Jared by calling him a fat pig. Ched was not weak like the other bandits, and a simple spell would not work against him. Knowing this, Jared cast a haste spell, which increases the acceleration of the body. Chad burst out in laughter as the so-called king prepared to flee, but he did not see what was coming. Using this spell, Jared started running circles around Ched, leaving him with no escape. Suddenly, punches and other spells started coming at Ched from all directions, and just like that, he was killed. With this expedition, Jared gained more loyalty points, and as they had finally reached 100, Caribia was now on the brink of entering a golden age. All kidnappers and murderers were dealt with, and the slaves, including the former slaves, were reunited with their families. Well, not all slaves were sent back. Lena was an exception. Jared gave her permission to stay in Caribia, as she might be sold somewhere else again by the director of the orphanage in Mallorca. Jared told her that he had been looking for talented youngsters to work with in the future, so he would be grateful if she agreed to come to Caribia. Moreover, he promised to make her a skilled swordsman. Lena, upon hearing the opportunity to finally pursue her dream, burst out in joy and promised to meet his expectations. Even though it seemed that Lena was lucky to find Jared, the truth was the opposite. It was Jared who never expected to meet Lena Geisel, an important vanguard for the Demon King and the Great Stallion War. Many players simultaneously attacked her. With a smile on her face, she defeated them all. The fortress she defended was impossible to break through, and no one, no matter how strong, could pass through. Jared was lucky to find her, and he was set on making sure that the Demon King never finds her, and she's on the right side this time. The next challenge in front of Jared was the state of Mallorca, a territory with tons of illegal activities that would surely have adverse effects on his territory as well, so he needs to come up with a plan to deal with Mallorca. Jared is not the only one thinking about other territories. The king of Mallorca, who is apparently a huge guy with an evil aura all around him, is also fed up with so many compliments directed towards Caribia. Frua, a noble of Mallorca and a friend of Grog, smirked and told the king that he will be having revenge for his close friend. A mysterious hooded man, sneaking through the roofs in the territory of Caribia, is seen making sure no one notices him. He drops the bag he was carrying in a street and gives a malicious grin. Early in the morning, Jared is exhausted from running, while Lena, even in the last lap, is full of energy. At the breakfast table, Jared received 2 letters. One of them was from Oren, which informed him about the successful cultivation of a crop named Latrilla. The other one was from a villager who had attracted more monster hunters to Caribia and was selling them mana stones obtained from defeating monsters. In short, expenses were cut short and sales were doubled. A knight rushed towards Jared and reported him about the monsters being thrown in the different streets of his territory. Jared immediately realized that this was done by an outsider, but was still not sure who and why they would do this. Some voices were heard of a kid nagging a merchant to help her mom. Jared inquired about the medicinal herbs she was looking for. Her mother had Ronella's disease, a disease that is impossible to cure. This disease is basically Paradiso's tuberculosis, whose origin is from Ronella territory and can either be cured by the blessing of Pontifex or a potion from the Athama Empire. Jared went to the kid's home to have a look at her mother, Mary. They were a poor family living in an old house. The mind estimated Mary's lifespan to be no more than 7 months. Mary immediately recognized Jared, as she was once called in his mansion as a chef 8 years ago. Jared asked her whether her daily life included dealing with monsters, and she told him that she was a chef in a high-rank expedition team that dealt with selling monster corpses. Then, Hayes and Lena brought all the herbs Jared asked for and requested Mary to trust him. The mysterious man who threw these monsters came back to the crime scene and was spying on Jared from above. However, Jared had already predicted his return. Jared was busy creating a new medicine for this disease while on the roof. The mysterious man's hunt was going on. This new medicine wouldn't be used in Paradiso until 10 years, but as Jared already had knowledge of the future, he decided to make it right now. Upon asking why Jared was going to such limits for a commoner, he replied that his mother had also died from cancer, and to this day, he is still angry for how he didn't have the power to cure her until it was too late. The mother he lost was not Jared's mother, but Chin Tipong's mother, her real mother from the real world. Although it happened 15 years ago, he still remembers the frustration and helplessness just as Mia, Mary's daughter, was feeling right now. Meanwhile, the mysterious man and Jared's chief guard are fiercely throwing their swords at each other. The sneaky spy was evading all the forceful attacks, and finally, seeing the opening he was waiting for, he went for the super ultimate instinct kick. Sir Lucas Rakis didn't even try to dodge and was even more devastated at such a weak man trying to go against King Jared. The spy couldn't believe how strong Rakis is. It was his special inclination that gave him the edge in one-on-one battles. His special abilities of orderliness and justice make him go berserk against evil people. The spy intended to kill anyone who discovers him, but seeing how he would never be able to defeat Rakis, he decided to take a step back and flee, releasing a smoke bomb. He managed to escape. 2 weeks later, Jared, wearing a cloak and fake mustache, was teaching Mia the two methods of lumping mana together, the simple associative method and forced condensation method. The former is a basic method, while the latter is for situations where evil magicians corrupt the surrounding mana, and the first method becomes impossible to be used. Mia realized the importance of both methods and proceeded to make fun of Jared's fake mustache. The door was knocked, and their lecture was cut short by Hayes, who called them for breakfast. The breakfast was cooked by the new chef Jared hired, Chef Mary. In a scene change, we see a room full of mana. In the center of the room sits the man emitting all this mana, a golden-haired young guy with charming looks and a slim body. This guy is none other than our own Jared, who has finally gotten rid of the obesity. People always look for shortcuts, but using shortcuts to pave your own path is what distinguishes Jared from others. Jared has successfully created his own method of training this mana, the operational training method. It is the mixture of a bug training method and a magician's mana training method. System asks Jared to name his new method, and Jared named it as solo bug player. Isabella, who has been by Jared's side since their contract, was very intrigued with Jared's unique approach. She proceeded on noticing a flaw in this method. No one from this world can draw raw mana in his body like Jared, so Isabella concluded that he is not actually from this land. As soon as Isabella's words left her mouth, Jared turned pale and confusingly asked what she meant. Isabella moved on, guessing if he is from another continent, as she has heard rumors that people from the eastern continent are good at mono manipulation. Jared sighed in relief and backed the rumor Isabella heard, so she can stray further away from the truth. In actual, the eastern continent was an expansion that developers worked on for 5 years, but unfortunately, Jared, or should I say Shin Tipong, died before its release. Realizing how much fun it has been for Isabella since she has been by Jared's side, Isabella became more and more interested in him and suggested that they should talk more to each other. After all, no one other than Jared can see her, as he is the only one with a mind's eye. Jared thought that she wants her mind's eye back, so he reminded her that the mind's eye is now his. Isabella blushed and told him that he can keep the mind's eye forever and consider it as a gift from his future wife. Jared couldn't believe what he was hearing, and Isabella proceeded that his looks were the problem at first, but now that he has lost some weight, Isabella, who died as a virgin, can take Jared as her partner. She then reminded him that they have already had their first kiss. Seeing where the conversation was heading, Jared ran out of the room, stating that he must leave for the Ronella territory now. On their way to Ronella, Hayes read the letter from Sir Lucas to Jared that Lena's progress has been going great, and in a month, he will have nothing more to teach her. Seeing how close Rakis' expiration date is, Jared starts to shortlist other teachers for Lena. All of a sudden, an arrow penetrates the glass of Jared's carriage, and just before it was about to hit Hayes, Jared used magic shield to save her. Jared suspected that bandits were behind this ambush. More arrows were being shot, and even though Jared has been easily handling the defense using shield magic, Hayes threw herself in front of Jared to use her body as the shield. Jared scolded her on her recklessness and ordered her to stay put in the carriage. He went out to see who dared to ambush him. Isabella offered her help, but Jared refused, saying he could handle it himself. Jared used a shield screen and moved towards the ambushers. That's it for today, guys. I will be signing off for now. Don't forget to subscribe to Manhwa Station and turn notifications on. This motivates me to work harder for you guys to have great content. Also comment the word Jared Opus down to let me know you want another part. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.